Okay. All right. We're live. We're live. Okay. So, y'all, we are at 659 subscribers. 659. Oh, move my thumb here. I want to try to keep it on my mic, but I honestly feel like I just need to get better sticky notes because they are not cooperating. Every day they end up on the floor. But we have been growing. When I started this journey, I was at 636 and we are at 659 now. So I'm feeling very hopeful and encouraged by the commitment to this on my part, but then also the fact that the more people that see it, they show up, they value the content, they value what's being talked about. And so that just makes me feel really good. So I'm moving along. I've talked about in the last one, I talked about how I feel about the progress and how I wish that it was faster, and I just had to be honest about that. I know that you're supposed to be grateful, not despising the small beginnings, and this is definitely not that. But to say that you don't have those feelings where you want things to move faster, I just, maybe some people genuinely don't care. I am not one of those people. Like, it does matter that it's not as fast as I would like, but that's not gonna stop me from doing what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So yesterday, we covered. Hey, Kayla. Yesterday we covered the. We talked about the explorer brand personality, and today I told y'all I was gonna talk about the rebel, but I switched it up on y'all. Okay, so here's why. So today we're going to be talking about the caregiver. Okay, so here's the card for the caregiver. We're going to be talking about the caregiver instead because I didn't feel like my outfit matched the rebel. That's literally it. That's the only reason why. I just felt like I want to talk about I want my outfits to match the vibe and the personality of each brand. And so I'm going to save the rebel for when I'm dressed more rebellious. So I might do like my leather. um I don't know, I might do like a dark lip color. Maybe I'll do a red, but it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. So the outfits gotta match the personalities from here on out. No one asked for this, but in my head, it just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. So yeah. So we're gonna be talking about the caregiver today. Yesterday we talked about the explorer, and the day before that we talked about the creator. And we have after today we will have 9 more brand personalities to go through. So if the past couple of days don't sound like you just yet, keep listening because one of your personalities is going to show up here. Okay. And this is one of those things, brand personalities are one of the things where it is not frowned upon to have multiple personalities. Okay. It is good to have more than one brand personality. Hey, Andrea. So if you're listening and you're like, okay, I feel like this one's me, but then I also feel like this one might be me too. That's okay. It's good because what it's going to do is going to give you a well-rounded perspective of your brand, right? Because we're multifaceted people. So, um, I'm before we go into the caregiver brand personality, I want to do my creator confession because I see you, Andrea. I want to do my creator confession because this one I'll tell y'all where it came from briefly, but I'm going to save this topic for its own live because I'm kind of still processing what I had just listened to. So I'll when I share it, it'll make more sense. So here's my creator confession. Okay, are y'all ready? So my creator confession for today is that I don't want or need everyone's feedback. I don't. And I feel that I feel that this goes right in line with this thought that I had a while ago where I was talking about unsolicited advice. And I've talked about this on more than one occasion, but I've talked about how I really don't like unsolicited advice from people. And the thing about it is that not to say that there aren't still things that I might not know that I needed that people share with me that aren't valuable. But what tends to happen for the people who thank you, for the people who are giving the unsolicited advice and the people that are receiving the unsolicited advice, for the person who's giving it and the person who's receiving it does not take it well, right? They don't receive it well, they're not receptive to it. You tend to feel like you are unappreciated. You tend to feel like people are taking you for granted. You can feel burnt out. You can feel just like people don't notice you, right? And on the receiving end, it because I've been on both sides. Okay, I used to be really bad at giving unsolicited advice. I've just channeled all of that to making content. but but on the receiving end, having people tell you things that you didn't ask for, sometimes it can come across as you feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Like it doesn't give you the space to process and problem solve for yourself, right? But then also that I think that it almost like puts the onus on the person to take action on it, even if they didn't ask for it. Like it's almost like you're being put on the spot to now I got to take this advice that is given to me, and if I don't now, I'm bad at taking criticism, or I don't take feedback well, or I'm just an ungrateful person. Like it puts you in an awkward position as the person who didn't say that this is what I was looking for, or who didn't open up and share this with that in mind. Like you weren't that's not what that was about. And to be honest, sometimes you just want to share stuff just because. And you just need a place to process it. Like you just need a place to like, okay, I put this there, but it's because I need to get out of my head. So I've had these conversations before just about unsolicited advice in general. But I was challenged on this idea of taking people's advice before, and it was brought to my attention that I don't value everyone's opinion, and I don't value everyone's feedback. And when I heard it at first, I was like, like it comes across as it made me feel like I wasn't a nice person. Like, I don't want people to feel like what they have to say isn't valuable or that it isn't helpful, but honestly, everything isn't helpful. Like everything isn't valuable, and it doesn't mean that it's not valuable at all. It's just not valuable to me. Like it doesn't help me. And so if you're sharing this with me and your goal is to help me or to give me a new perspective or a way of looking at things, then you should want that too. Like you should want to share and give advice and give critique and give feedback to people who it is going to help them. And so when I thought about when I thought about that, I agreed. Like ultimately I do agree with that. And what the YouTube video that I watched today made me realize is that feedback is very valuable. Like it's more valuable than I think that we realize. And this goes into what we do as creators, what we do oftentimes as women, what we do as Black women. Uh, okay. We don't see how valuable our our advice is. We don't see how valuable our critiques are. We don't see how valuable our feedback is. And so what we do is we give it freely. We give it continuously. We give it, give it, give it, give it, give it. But what happens is that there is not always given to the right people. It's not always given in spaces where it is valued. And so I think what would irritate me about unsolicited advice is that this might be helpful to somebody, but the fact that you feel this desire or this push to just put it on me, it reveals an insecurity in you, and it was irritating to me. It was irritating because it's projecting. Like, like if the people who I feel know the value of what they say, and they know the worth in what they offer, they don't just give it away to everybody. Like, they don't like, you think about some of the people who you watch, or the people who you look up to, or the people that you even work with, who like their time is valuable. Like, they don't play about their time. They don't they don't just sit around, and they don't just have conversations with anyone. They don't tell everyone the truth. Not necessarily like they are lying to them, but they don't really go in. Like, they know how valuable what's in here is. They understand the value of their mind. They understand the value of their experiences and their wisdom, and they save that, and they reserve it for those who have the money to invest in it, who have the mindset or the posture to receive it. They save it for the people who have invested, have shown that they are invested to some degree. They don't just give it away to everybody. And that, to me, is is becoming more and more like my way of moving. Like, I don't have to speak and critique everything that I see. I don't have to give everyone my perspective on what they're creating or what they're doing. And if some people might say, "Oh, like, you're not trying to help people when they're down, or you're not trying to help people be better." And it's like, some people don't want to be, and they didn't ask me. And they definitely didn't pay me. So why would I feel the need to put that on them, unless it was to fill some kind of void or deficit inside of me? Hey John, like, it's overcompensating. And so when I say that I don't want or need everyone's feedback, I don't. I don't. And if I'm like real, there are some people where when I ask for your feedback, I, for one, make sure that I'm in a place to receive it. And if I don't feel like I'm in a place to receive it, then I'm not even going to waste your time. That's first and foremost, right? But then also, for me, and like just my discretion, like, is this someone whose advice I trust? Like, have you shown me that what you're talking about makes sense coming out of your mouth? Like, have you shown me that what you're doing demonstrates that you have wisdom or experience and knowledge in this area? Those questions that need answers. Questions that need answers. So if I don't feel like that's something that you can offer me respectfully, no. No. I don't want it. I don't want it. And there was like this is a small tangent, y'all, and I promise I'm gonna get on track. I'm gonna do better with time today, okay? I'm getting better and not going forever. But I have to say this part. There was like this, and it might still be a debate going on now. I don't know. I'm so far removed from that side of TikTok that it's just like, whatever y'all are doing over there, y'all just be in that mess by yourself. Hey, big sis, y'all be in that mess on y'all own. Okay. Don't invite me. But there was like this ongoing debate that was going on about people feeling like they should be able to give advice on things that they've had no experience in. And it was people saying like, I should be able to give you advice on being a parent, even though I'm not a parent, because I'm an aunt. and I see what it's like. And I'm like, okay, okay. So what perspective are you offering here that I need to hear? Like what is it that you're telling me that I need to hear? That I feel like you what you have experienced and what you know would make this relevant for me. Or when people felt like they should be able to give relationship advice and marriage advice, and they have never been married or even had a healthy relationship. And I'm just like, what are you offering me? What are you offering me? And why I couldn't understand why people really like why they wanted that so bad. Like I should be able to give you advice on that. Why do you want to? Why do you want to? Why wouldn't you want to reserve your advice and your feedback for things that you actually have experience in that would be valuable to people? And so like my argument would always be, you have every right to share it, but I don't want it and I don't want to hear it, which is my right. Like I don't want it. So you can talk about it all you want to. Nobody I can't force you to stop talking, but I don't want your advice, and you feeling a way about people not wanting that just baffles me. It is so confusing to me. And so like I was so tired of having that conversation with people. I was just like, look, I don't want it. And if you insist on talking about it and sharing it, I just won't be in the room because I have no interest in this. This is not helpful to me. You're just contributing to the noise. And so that's one of the big reasons why when it comes to like the panel discussions and the conversations that people have, and sometimes I'm just like, no, no thank you. No thank you. Cause y'all don't know what y'all talking about. And this is not a good use of my time. I'm going to be held responsible for this time that I just wasted in this conversation that provided no value to me. So, all that to say that my confession is I do not want or need everyone's advice or feedback. I just don't. I don't. I don't. So, I'm just glad to know that I'm not alone in this. But even if I was alone, I said what I said because I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. You got to fill somebody else's head with all the extra stuff that you're saying. So that's my confession for today, y'all. I had to get that off my chest. But I will share. I was watching a YouTube video where they were talking about Chris Doe. He was Chris Doe. Yeah, he was talking about how 98% of people that are talking about personal branding are basically full of BS. Like they don't know what they're talking about. And so it was a very, very challenging and interesting video for me to watch because I'm in branding, but it was good, and it raised it raised some good points that I will touch on at a later time. But just so y'all know where that thought process come from, one of those things that was talked about was feedback. So yeah, are y'all ready? Hey Ron, are y'all ready to talk about the caregiver brand personality? Let me know. Y'all tell me on TikTok, tell me ready. Oh, and YouTube too. I think it's just Kayla right now, but you could tell me you're ready. And then I'll go into the caregiver archetype. Okay. I see the ready. I see the readies. Okay. Let's get into it, y'all. Okay, so the caregiver archetype is driven by an urge to support and care for others. So if you are instinctively a person who knows what people need to be safe and to feel valued, then you might be a caregiver. So this is more than just offering help. The caregiver provides an environment of trust, warmth, and security. So If that sounds like you, if that feels like something that you do and feedback that you've got, you might be a caregiver. Okay. So, caregivers, caregivers, Kayla's saying it definitely sounds like her. Caregivers are, their strengths are empathy and compassion. They have this deep understanding of what people need and they have a concern for their well being. They are also strong in reliability and trustworthiness. They're always there when they're needed. They are patient and understanding. They take the time to listen to people without judgment, listen and support without judgment. They are very protective. Okay. They're going to make sure that their people are good. And I think that that's the part where it may not, it may not sound like what you would think about immediately when you think about a caregiver, but it's like that protective side comes out when it needs to. Like they're not always rah rah, but if you messing with my people, you're gonna catch these hands. That's basically the kind of energy that they're coming with. Okay, like I'm gonna protect my people by all means. Um, and they're also strong in being selfless. So they're known for putting the others' needs before their own. Okay. So, when you bring and you harness those strengths, you are someone who is naturally able to nurture and support people, but you're not just a helper, you're a guardian, okay? A guardian for well-being. Hey, Ashane, a guardian of well-being, trust, and comfort. Okay, so it's not just about being like this, mushy, lovable person, but it's having a conviction that I need to protect people. I need to care. I'm here to support and listen because this is what people need. Like you realize that need that people have. So with every strength, there comes the challenges. All right. So the challenges that the caregiver can often face is burnout from overextending themselves. Overextending themselves and neglecting their own needs. Okay. I'm not, just, don't point no fingers. Just, if you know, you know. The overprotectiveness and the overprotectiveness can end up stifling the people's independence. So it can be nurturing to a fault. Okay. Um, Another challenge can be resentment, especially when it feels like your needs are not being met, is not being reciprocated. You might also be somebody, this ain't on the list, y'all, but you might also be somebody that is challenged with giving unsolicited advice. All right, I'm just going to mind my business. All right. Inability to say no, taking on way too much responsibility, okay, and not setting boundaries or enforcing your boundaries. I see the side eye. I came with some different energy today, y'all. And then the another challenge is the inability to say no. Okay. Oh, not inability to say no, and then self-neglect. So ignoring your own health and well-being while caring for others. So this one is a big one. The only I'll say this, one reason why it might be a challenge is not because you're such a caring person. It might not be because you're such a caring person. I think the bigger challenge here in self-neglect is not feeling worthy of it. And that's not on here. That's not on here, but honestly, I feel like it should be because I think that you will give your reason for self-neglect being that I got to put other people first. I got to make sure they're good. I got to make sure they're taken care of, but at the root of that, it's this belief that you don't deserve what it is that you're giving. So there can be some perception issues and some self-love issues that are really at the root of that. So it sounds cute when you put it that way, but in reality it's not cute. You don't think you're worthy of it, and that needs to be addressed. Okay. So when you recognize and mitigate the challenges, um, you can maintain the energy that you have because we need caregivers. It's not a bad thing to be a caregiver. We literally need caregivers, y'all. Okay. We need those type of people who understand the needs of others, who advocate for others, who can listen and support. Like that's where that sense of belonging and security comes from that we need as people. So it's not that it's a bad thing that you are that way, but you have to recognize what your challenges are and not allow the strengths that you have to make you into like a martyr. Okay. So so let's get into the overview. Before I do that though, because I see a lot of comments for this one. So selfishness, Kayla on YouTube says selflessness can lead to so much burnout. Yeah, yeah. And it's not bad to be selfless, but it is bad when it is self-neglect. Okay. Um Latara on TikTok said, wait, maybe I'm not a caregiver. I don't Yeah, I don't think that you are a caregiver, Latara. I don't think that you are a caregiver. I think that I think that if anything, you might align more with the healer, which is in the caregiver family, but I'll get to that at the end when I talk about all the other personalities that are within it. So I don't think that you are I wouldn't categorize you as a caregiver. So yeah, I think that healer is more in alignment with your brand. So um those are going to come up, y'all. At the end of everyone, there are four more that are in the family. There's five altogether. The caregiver is just the fundamental archetype that kind of like characterizes all of them, but each individual personality has its own unique features to it. So, if you're listening to this and some of the stuff you feel like you can relate to and some of the things you feel like maybe not, hang tight because you might be one of their cousins, okay? So, Kayla said, "I love these breakdowns." That makes me excited. I'm glad that y'all love them. The thing about the brand personalities, y'all, is that when I discovered them, I just could not get them out of my head. I just was so impressed and inspired by learning what my brand personalities were. So I really want to pass that feeling on to people because it is just unlocking something else about yourself that you may not have realized was there, but it is there. And now that you know it, you can show others that side of you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Um Laughing at Mass saying I never give unsolicited advice. Okay. Okay, so let's get into the overview. So, at the heart of the caregiver, there is a burning passion for helping others and a desire to create safe, nurturing environments. These individuals don't just see the world as it is, they see the potential for making it better through kindness and support. So, with a highly empathetic nature, caregivers often find themselves in roles where their nurturing instincts can shine and make an impact on those that they care for. So, when you're trying to create trusting and supportive experiences, it is back up. Okay. So caregivers are they're characterized by their ability to create strong, trusting relationships and provide unwavering support. Okay. So their dedication to the well-being of others makes them invaluable leaders in fields that prioritize care and compassion. And one thing that I want to say is that you can be a caregiver and not be in a traditional caregiver role. So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, I'm not a nurse or a doctor or I don't work in like a nursing home, like you can still embody this energy without being in those typical roles. Okay. And I'll give some examples of some brands that represent this that will help you see this in some new ways. So um, you possess a unique ability to make people feel safe and valued, ensuring that their actions are not just helpful, but profoundly impactful. So, you not only are you Are you helping people just by giving them a space to feel seen and heard, but you're also helping them to feel impactful? You're helping them to see what they're capable of by being this nurturing, caring, supportive person. So remember, I told y'all we need caregivers. So if this is you, don't sleep on yourself, okay? Because one of your strengths is not self promotion. So I'm a cheer y'all on for you, okay? All right, I'm gonna let people know the caregivers. We need y'all. Y'all are some superstars. Yeah. Yes, Kayla is saying this is resonating deeply, a unique way to show people they are valued. Yes, showing that they are valued, showing the impact that they make, and making them feel like they can do it because you're giving them a space to express it. So, y'all some real ones. Okay. So, the essence of the caregiver brand, caregiver brands are synonymous with reliability, warmth, and support. They possess an intuitive grasp of people's needs. They often provide solutions that offer comfort and security. This archetype thrives on creating environments where people feel cared and valued, and it makes it a cornerstone in industries like healthcare, hospitality, and personal services. So, again, hospitality is actually a good one that I didn't think about off the top of my head, but caregiver in a hospitality space, it still works. Like even if you were like an event coordinator, you could still be a caregiver brand, right? Like it's not about the industry, it's about the essence of the character, the personality of the brand. So, caregiver brands are not just about meeting expectations, they're about exceeding them in the most compassionate ways possible. So, your mindset as a caregiver is not just making things work, but doing it in a way where the most people feel seen, they feel heard, they feel supported, they feel loved, they feel valued. So your mindset is going to always be, how can we create a space where everybody gets their time, everybody feels like they belong. So that's a really big important thing for you. So it's not even just about, you're not necessarily moved by the numbers in terms of like finances or goals, but really like what was the impact that was made on people. So some examples of the caregiver brand are Johnson and Johnson and Dove. So remember, I told y'all nothing to do with healthcare, even though that's a beauty brand, but like it's not a hospital. So Johnson and Johnson, Dove, they represent the epitome of the caregiver archetype. Um, they have not only introduced products that care for people's health and well being, but also have maintained a nurturing and trustworthy image. And even if you think about the way that, especially Dove commercials, oh, this is a perfect example, y'all. So if y'all have been paying attention to Dove's campaigns lately, they've been doing this campaign where they were bringing in women at different ages. So like they had a lot of women who had like the grays, they had women with their grandchildren, and they were putting them in campaigns. And one of the biggest purposes of that campaign was to show that you're never too old to be in the spotlight. And they showed them like using, I think that it was for their, not for their hair care, but like their body bar or their beauty bar. And so it was kind of like the angle was like passing it down from generation. Like I remember using the beauty bar when I was a girl or when I was a teenager and I was a young woman, and now my granddaughter uses it too. Like it's like kind of making a comeback. So a part of it is like a reference to the multi-generational thing, but showcasing the women who are older, 50s, 60s, 70s, lets them be seen in all of their glory and all of their beauty, and not just showcasing the young women, the young people. So that compassion is just like all up and through that brand, like that caregiver, like the empathy, the nurturing, the supportive, the recognizing people's value and then making them feel impactful. Like, do y'all see how they're literally doing that with that one campaign? That's like, I love it. So if y'all haven't seen what I'm talking about, they've been doing a couple of more like controversial campaigns, but they're only controversial because they are showcasing and promoting the things that challenge what has been going on and how people have been disenfranchised. So it's almost a little rebellious in a way. So you don't have to just be like this mushy person to be a caregiver. Again, like you stand for something, right? You protect people. So, um, but yeah, so they care for people's health and then their well-being. And so even somebody like Mr. Rogers, I remember Mr. Rogers, you come in. Actually, I don't know if that's a great example anymore because I heard some things about Mr. Rogers, but let's just talk about the character, not the man. Moving along. Supportive. Then the supportive nature of brands like Tom's, even though Tom's were like some of them were not nice looking shoes. Those were not good looking shoes, but Tom's, they had a mission, they had a goal in mind. Caregiver. Tom shoes, that they have a deep understanding of their audience's need for security and care, and each interaction feels personal and reassuring. So not even just caring for people's needs and making them feel seen, but also making the people feel like, you know, like I see you, like this is for you, this is personal, this is special, this is unique to you. So, and we'll get into some of the ways that you can display this if you are a part of the caregiver family. Okay. But that's just like a little peek into what that would look like. Won't you be my, like, nah, I don't want to be Mr. Rogers' neighbor. I don't want to be his neighbor. But it is, I'm gonna have to find a new example of that. That feels wrong now. Like I can't in good conscience use him. Kayla said, "Oh, the terror of wearing Toms when it's raining." It's not caring. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's just move on. Let's just move on. 'Cause you dig too deep, you find holes in all of this stuff. Sesame Street. Sesame Street. I definitely think that. It could be. That could be a good one. I'm wondering if there is another one that might fit Sesame Street a little bit better, but, maybe if there's, like, a particular character on Sesame Street, for sure. Man, I really wish I could think of another public figure off the top of my head, but I can't right now. So, I promise when I revisit these again, I will come up with some other examples of this. So, don't worry, I got y'all. And so let's see. Let's go into the journey with your audience. So if you are the caregiver, this is what your this is what your brand should be taking people on the journey of. Like, this is what it should look like when they are linked in with you. Okay. So, one of the key aspects of the caregiver brand is the ability to build lasting, trusting relationships with your audience. Okay. Do not take that for granted. Let me actually run that part back real fast so that y'all know what y'all are capable of. The ability to build lasting, trusting relationships with your audience. You have so much currency right there. And the only thing you got to do is be yourself. Okay. That's one of your strengths. So by consistently providing support and care, these brands create an experience that feels both personal and meaningful. Like, imagine that you doing something as simple as remembering certain people's names, or with Kayla, remembering the things that the people who come into your lives, like what their goals are and what they're trying to accomplish, remembering little details about them. That is the essence of a caregiver, and that's how you can make people feel good going on this journey with you. So when you do that, this ongoing dedication is not just about offering products and services, but it's about creating a sense of community and belonging. Like, that is what motivates you, but that's also what's going to be the star of the show, whether you create a product or a service. Okay, so overcoming challenges, the challenges that we mentioned in the beginning. Yeah. What about the brand Pampers? Hey, Adrian. That's a good one. Or the Honest Company. Yeah, y'all. And if you can think of, where I was struggling was thinking of some personal brands. So thinking of some figures, some public figures. But if y'all can think of public figures that represent the caregiver brand, drop those in the comments. Okay. But those are good ones. I would definitely say the Honest Company. Hmm. Yeah, I could see that one. I see that one. I think they're mixed with something else, but I could definitely see them as a caregiver. Tabitha Brown. Auntie Tab. Auntie Tab, she might be the one. I think she fits the caregiver. She definitely fits the caregiver. Huh, that's a good one, Kayla. Yeah. Um, she fits the caregiver, and then she's also a good she also kind of fits the jester. So, yeah, and we'll talk about that one too. But she definitely fits the caregiver. That's a good one. So, the challenges, overcoming the challenges that the caregiver has, um, balancing that dedication with others, with the need to maintain your own well-being. And so, like I said earlier, and the most important thing, if you are realizing and recognizing that that's something that you struggle with, that self-neglect, and the putting everyone's needs before your own, then you need to check in and learn why you feel like you're not worthy of it, because that's what's at the root of it. Okay, spoiler alert, that's what's happening. So that's how you're going to balance it, by learning why you have that thought process and why you have that belief. So the path of the caregiver, is fraught with risks of burnout, overcommitment, and the emotional toll of constantly caring for others. So it is like, of absolute importance that if you are struggling with feeling worthy of love, feeling worthy of, self care, feeling worthy of soul care, feeling worthy of the things that you give to others, that will be your downfall if you do not figure out and make that a priority as you are building your brand, and before, even before you catch it before. Because what's going to happen is that if that's not something that you are not only aware of, but something that you are actively working to challenge and heal in, is going to continue to come up in your business. And the more success that you have financially, the more success that you have business wise, the more you have to lose if you get to the point of burnout. Okay. Like, I really want y'all to hear me on this. You will get to the point of burnout. And so you, as selfless as you are, as caring as you are, it cannot be to your own detriment. All right, y'all. I love y'all. You love you. Take care of you, because we need you. Hey, Kuma. So, as you are connecting with your customers, you attract those who value compassion, support, and trust. Now, I'll say this because I said it last time. I'm going to keep repeating this as often as I need to. Being a caregiver does not mean that you attract other caregivers. Okay. The point in you knowing your brand personality is not to attract more of you. It is so that you understand where your strengths are, you understand where your challenges are, and you understand how to communicate it so the people that need these things know that you are their person. So you may not be connecting necessarily with other caregivers, which again, why it's important is paramount that you do not neglect yourself, because you're not going to always get back from others what you give. And so you might be susceptible to resenting people because you don't have those boundaries and you haven't been taking care of yourself. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Like we gotta, like we can't skip past that part. We can't skip past that part. This is like literally telling you what could potentially be a barrier for you before you get to that point. So please hear me. Hear me on this. Yeah. Be your caregiver. You be you. You be what you need, what you give to others. So sorry y'all. Let's get back. Let's get back. So connecting with your customers. There are people who value compassion, support, and trust. These people are buying into a relationship of care and reassurance. So, by constantly demonstrating empathy and reliability, caregiver brands can create a loyal following that appreciates that genuine concern for their well-being. So that like is just, y'all, for a second think about how good it felt or feels, if this is where you currently are, how good it feels to be in a space where you feel like people genuinely care about you. They genuinely are concerned about you. They genuinely appreciate you. They genuinely want to see you win. Like, think about how good it feels to be in those spaces. And then to know as a caregiver, that's what you bring to people. Like, oh, it just feels so good. Like that's what you do. That's what you bring. So we're going to get into strategic brand positioning. All right. So this is how you want to show up. This is how you want to look. This is how you want to talk so that you are presenting yourself well. Okay. So we're going to talk strategy now. So the caregiver brand often adopts a warm and inviting approach with a focus on user friendly and comforting experiences. So their offerings are typically set at an affordable price range, okay, emphasizing accessibility and reliability. So you are one of the brands, because every brand personality has their thing, right? Like some brands, your price ranges are higher because it doesn't make sense for your stuff to be cheap, because then people won't trust it, right? Yours makes sense at an affordable price range, and we all know that affordable is subjective, right? So not saying that everything needs to be, a dollar or a penny or free. Okay. It does not need to be free, but you may need to start thinking about what it looks like to create products and create experiences that don't feel elitist or don't feel like you can't sit with us kind of energy. Okay. So yeah, so they are set and affordable, accessible and reliable. The design and the marketing strategies are crafted to convey trust and warmth, often using soothing colors, hence my lavender today, using soothing colors and nurturing not energy, to reinforce their caring ethos. So we're gonna get into this. I won't skip ahead. But this leads us right into your colors. Okay. So your colors as the caregiver brand often lean towards soft and comforting colors. So light blues, greens, and warm neutrals that evoke a sense of calm and trust. The colors are used to create a visual identity that feels welcoming and reassuring. So even when you think about the brands that we mentioned, they have, I think Johnson and Johnson. I'm trying to think of what their colors are. I feel like they have red in it. Don't quote me on that though. But you can think of I would think of the greens, the light blues especially, because blue is a very calming color. It also, is like a it's also seen as okay, that's what I thought. I think they're red, but there's a reason why they're red that I'll get into, or at least my theory why they're red. But like the softer colors, it doesn't have to literally be the light blues and the greens. That's what I was saying. Blue is not strength but stability. Like blue is a stable color, so people see that as like a place where like they trust it. It is calming, but not in a put you to sleep kind of way, but like you can trust me, like you're good here kind of feeling. And then as far as like the neutral colors go, warm neutrals, that makes me immediately think of like the brown family. The red and Johnson, I do feel like it's more on like the maroon side. It's like a softer red, it's not a bright red. But again, I think that the reason why theirs specifically is red because they're not just a caregiver, they also remind me of like the lover, which I will talk about too, but again, I'm aware of different colors and a different style for the lover archetype, but they also, I think they fall under that category too, which would make sense why they have red. So it's interesting when you see the full scope of all of the personalities that make up your brand, you can see where certain things make sense versus where other things maybe don't make sense, depending on how strong you are in each personality. So, yeah. Now, the values of the caregiver brand, is the desire for nurturing and protection, and the things that they create are extensions of their environment, of their not their environment, their commitment to improve others' lives and working with a sense of care and compassion. So you're driven by nurturing and protecting people. Okay. And don't forget, like the protecting piece is a part of you. So if it's a little like, raw in your face to people, it doesn't mean that you're not a caregiver, because it's not just about the warm fuzzy, but it's about having people feel safe. So don't forget that part. So let's get into how you make your community feel as a caregiver. So caregivers make their community feel safe and protected, knowing they are in good hands. That always makes me think about Allstate. You're in good hands. Valued and understood, with their needs being a priority, comforted and reassured, knowing someone genuinely cares. And you also make your community feel encouraged and supported, with help always available when needed. Okay. So when you're making connections as a caregiver, it's crucial for you to show genuine concern for your followers' well being. And when I say genuine, I believe that you genuinely care, but I believe that it can be damaging if you are thank you, if you are um expressing concern, but you do not have the capacity to help people, because that will damage your reliability, which is important for you to maintain as a caregiver. So it's not even just about like I not just about like pursuing causes and relationships and concern where you genuinely care, but also knowing when you have the capacity to, and being okay if you don't, because you will be doing more harm than good by trying to show concern when you do not have the space or the capacity to actually help the people. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that will be more on a personal level, case by case basis, depending on where you are, what you're doing, and what's being asked of you. So another thing that's crucial is to provide consistent support and reassurance. This does not mean constant, okay? Just consistent. All right. And then it's also crucial for you to communicate directly and warmly, making individuals feel cared for and valued. All right. So, are y'all ready to get into some storytelling ideas, some content ideas, some I'm meeting this person or this group of people for the first time. These are the things that I'm going to discuss. This is where we get into more of the marketing and the content of the caregiver. Okay? So, I see it. Yes, I love this. I see you, Andrea. I see you, Kayla. All right, let's get into it. So, one story that you can share is when you went above and beyond to help someone in need. And I know that one might sound kind of gross because it's like, I'm just supposed to help people. Why would I help people and talk about it? But here's the thing, if you, what you are doing is a part of your business, you got to talk about it. You got to talk about it. And it's a great thing when you can share what your work, what your product, what your service has done for people. So again, don't look at this as being like self-indulgent or boastful, but think of it as I'm literally demonstrating and telling the story of what my work has done for people. And so you can do that in any way that you feel comfortable, but it's a good storytelling idea. Okay, share stories of others who inspire you with their acts of kindness or service. So this is one of those things where like promoting other people makes both of y'all look good. Okay, sharing what you do, sharing what other people have done that has been of service to you or to others is also a good reflection on you as well. And as I said this, I'm literally thinking about you, Kayla. This might be one of your personalities actually. Because every time you talk about the Getting Unshy workbook or when you talk about bell peppers, it makes sense. Like you're promoting someone else, but it also makes you look good too. Like it's so wild. It's so wild that it works like that, but it works because it's you. Yeah, that's why I was like, no, you got to post it. You got to post it. So yeah, another thing that you can share is heartfelt testimonials and personal anecdotes. So sharing again, this is another one of those things where you might feel like, "Ooh, I don't want to share my testimonials," but you got to. Okay, you got to let other people know how amazing you are and how helpful you are. Right, guys. But then also sharing your personal story as well is another good way because not only does that demonstrate your personality and who you are, but it also creates like that nurturing feeling, and that's like that reliability and that trust that you are strong in. So those are good. Yeah, now you got to post it, Kayla. It's a done data. Okay, it is a done data. It's got to happen now. So y'all, there are some more storytelling ideas. There's a lot of them for caregiver. Dang, y'all got a lot. I want to say it's at least 7 other storytelling ideas. I won't share them all on today's video, but I will link the blog post that breaks all of this stuff down in the description box. So if you want to go back through it and read it for yourself, if you want to see more of the storytelling ideas, go to the link. It'll be in the box, and you can go and look at some other storytelling ideas for the caregiver brand. All right. So here are some key phrases. Here are some key phrases and words. I'm laughing at you, Palm. Yeah, no, not a caregiver. Not a caregiver. You are nurturing, but that's because you're a lover. So key phrases and words are you give me a lot of confidence and hope. You help me to feel better than before. You make it easy to get what I really want. I care about you. It's an honor to serve you. I want to. Oh no, that one doesn't. That's not the right one. All right, I'm looking at something. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Using words like we, our, or you, especially the we and the our, making people feel included and creating that community space. So any words that makes them feel like that. Um, you're probably not gonna do best talking and using like I or me because that feels more like people are observing you and not like they're a part of what it is you're talking about. Now, that wouldn't apply obviously for personal anecdotes, but just like a general rule of thumb, especially when it comes to like your copy on websites and things like that, using inclusive language is going to be important for you. Oh, really? Oh, I can actually see magician. I can see magician, Andrea. Okay. So, caregivers, my beautiful, wonderful, nurturing, amazing caregivers. I want you to remember to nurture yourself, nurture you as much as you nurture others. Okay. Each act of care is a testament to your boundless compassion and dedication. Keep supporting, keep protecting, and watch as you create a world of warmth and trust with every step you take. I don't know that. Mm, that to me that kind of messed me up a little bit. This isn't even this is not my brand personality, y'all, but I want y'all to I want y'all to really take that to heart. Like create keep supporting, protecting and watch as you create a world of warmth and trust with every step. I feel something on that. Um yeah, that is Palm. I'm honored to serve you. Uh yeah. So I say let me say this. Where we are right now, and man, this is gonna also be why you gotta post that video, Kayla. But where we are right now, the world feels cold and lonely and divisive. And one of the things that we are missing is that warmth, and especially like being able to trust one another. I feel that the caregivers out there, um hmm, okay, let me just say it the way that I'm hearing it. So caregivers, you're going to be so critical and so important for the years that are coming up. And you're going to be in demand. Okay. Which is why I believe I kept going back to don't forget yourself, nurture yourself, love yourself. And if you don't, discover what you need so that you can start treating yourself with the love and care that you give others, because you are about to be in for some of the most incredible times, some of the most challenging times, some of the most accelerated times of your career, of your life, because of how in demand you are going to be. So it's amazing, it's incredible, it's time. However, not however, and also take the time now to give yourself what you need and learn what needs to be put into place so that you can serve well without losing yourself. Don't be one of those people who, as you're experiencing all of this goodness and all of this abundance, that you get yourself into burnout. You get yourself into resentment. You get yourself so far removed from you that now you're questioning everything about yourself. Don't allow that to happen. Okay. Don't allow that to happen. Heed my words, because I'm not just making this up. Heed my words. If you don't know what that is now, figure out what you need to love yourself, take care of yourself, learn what your boundaries are, and practice enforcing your boundaries so that when the abundance comes, you do not get lost in the sauce. All right, y'all? So, yeah, yeah, if you don't, you will be drained. You will be drained. I mean, but it won't even just be drained, like, you will be depleted. You will be confused, you will be burnt out, you will be resentful, and you will be so far removed from who you are that it could turn into an entire identity crisis. Like, that's how important it is for y'all to, like, to not just let this, don't let, like, this is a priority. Okay, this is a priority because it can lead to just complete confusion. Yes, I'm so glad you were able to be here for it, Kayla. I am. I am. I didn't even know we was gonna go here before I started this, but that's what I feel, it's what I believe. So, y'all, it's about to be amazing. I wish that sounded better when I sang it, but I ain't know what note I wanted to hit at the end. So I apologize in advance for that little crack. But the energy was there. Okay, it's gonna be amazing. I want to try it again, but I'm also scared I'm gonna mess it up again. Hold on. I gotta do it again. I can't be no punk. It's going to be amazing. That was better. That was better. I can live with that one. It's still a little shaky, but it's all right. Okay, listen, the energy was felt. I couldn't give up on it. Okay. I had to hit the note. I should have went lower instead of higher, but I felt like we're not going low, we're going high. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I ain't worried about embarrassing myself. Okay, so y'all, thank you, Kayla. That's the so that's that supportiveness. So y'all, okay, so let's get into the other personalities that are in the caregiver brand. All right. So the caregiver is the fundamental brand personality, but the caregiver got some cousins. So even if you are not a caregiver specifically, you might be one of their cousins. All right. So here are the other archetypes that are in this family. You're gonna like this one, Kayla. So the first one is the healer. Okay. And this is what I was saying, that Latara is more in line with. I don't know if she's still here, but if she watches the replay, I think you're more of a healer. So the strengths of the healer is inspiration, empathy, faith, passion, and wholeness. Some of their challenges can be the temptation to use power for gain, control, or fame, representation as the only answer, and egotism. Oh, you are? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the one I think that you are. I think that you're the healer. So the healer is essentially a conduit toward wholeness. See? Just out that first sentence alone, this definitely sounds more like you. Okay, so a conduit toward wholeness, a catalyst in which nature is the ultimate healer. This archetype does not do the healing, but creates the conditions, beliefs, and structure for healing to happen. There's some other stuff on this card too, but I'm just giving like a brief overview. If y'all want to see the full thing, it's going to be on the blog in the description box. Okay. So the next one, the next cousin at the family reunion is Angel. See, Angel. See, Kayla. That's why I said you was gonna like this one. That's why he's like yes and yes and yes and yes. Cause Angel. So the angel strengths are the capacity to inspire and relieve spiritual loneliness, infinite compassion, and the ability to be the bearer of miracles, purity, and humility. Some of the challenges of the angel can be the temptation to use the divine to mislead, control, or manipulate, prone to putting on an angelic act while feeling resentful, and a Pollyanna like attitude, which is basically when you like make everything positive, even when that's not how you really feel. Like that's the most simplest way I can describe it. Yeah, overly positive. Like you fake positive, like toxic positivity at this point. So the angel is a servant of higher realms, providing aid and comfort, guidance and instruction, love and humanity. The angel is known to laugh a lot. Y'all know Kayla. Y'all know Kayla is literally the angel, and she called herself Kayla the angel before she ever knew about this. But it's just so funny because it's her. Um, to They are known to laugh a lot, radiate joy, and possess a core of sweetness and purity. Okay, so that is the angel. All right, I'm gonna chill. I'm done. I'm off it now. Okay, the next one is the guardian. The guardian's strengths are a gift for nurturing, guidance, desire to offer loving oversight, protection, and compassionate discipline. The challenges of the guardian can be abuse of power, neglect, overbearingness, and entrapment. So the guardian finds identity and fulfillment by defending, protecting, or caring for others. This archetype is a keeper of traditions, legacies, and values, and they seek to offer a firm hand to strategically guide and form a path towards the greater good. Okay. Yeah, I really do like the angel archetype. It's the energy that it just feels really good to be around. So the Samaritan is the last one. It's the last one of the cousins coming to the family reunion. Their strengths are selflessness, kindness, self sacrifice, and generosity. Their challenges are audacity to decide who is deserving of help, arrogance, and self martyrdom. So remember, I was telling y'all that all that self neglect and resentment can lead to you becoming a martyr, but it's because you did it to yourself. Okay, so I won't keep harping on that, but I think y'all get the gist. So, operating under the love thy neighbor as thyself behavior code, the Samaritan demonstrates compassion and action. The Samaritan hears an internal call to help others in need, but not as a result of being asked. It's like a thing that just like they sense it and they feel it even if you're not saying it, which can lead into that compassion. But that also, I think that also is more of empathy than compassion because they don't feel sorry for you. They feel you and can sense what it is that you might be needing or looking for. So yes, those are that's the healer. I mean, the healer, the caregiver archetype, and all the cousins and the family. And from the sounds of it, it seems like I have more caregivers in the community than I was aware of. So that's really dope. That's good for me to know. I really didn't. I was going to talk about something completely different today, but I'm glad that caregiver was today and I wore the color that I did. Like it all was meant to be. It was all meant to happen. So those are them. If you want to listen to this replay, you are more than welcome to. No, please do listen to it as much as you want to. If you want to read it, then you can go to the link that will be in the description, and you can read through all of these. You can see all the storytelling ideas. You can read more about the cousins. And if you want to find out even further, if you want to know specifically which one of these archetypes, which one of these personalities is you, and you want to know your combination, then that's when you can hire me to help you to figure it out through the brand style lab. So not only will you find out your brand personalities, thank you, Solo Man, but you're also going to learn what content strategy was going to work best for you, what platforms you should be working on. If you have a project where you're looking to expand your brand, refresh it, revamp it in some way, then we can talk about that as well during the brand style lab. And you'll also get there's something I'm missing. It actually just escaped my mind. If I remember it, then I'll tell y'all. But if not, I wrote it down in the description. So the brand style lab, the full description of everything that's included in it is going to also be at the end of every blog post. So if you want to see more of what you're going to be getting, then you can check that out. I will post the discount code inside of the description box, okay? Because I didn't talk about it yesterday and I just thought about that now. But there's a code that's going to take the brand style lab from $1,500 to $997. And I'm only going to be doing that until the end of this year. So if you know you want to revamp, refresh, rebrand, and you want to get that ball rolling for the new year, then make sure that you get a hold of that code and secure your spot before December 20th. I am so sorry. I keep forgetting what date, but it's like the 21st or the 22nd. I don't remember which one of those. But if you know that you want it and you need it, then I'll put the code in there. So it's brand new 25, and that's how you can get it for a discounted rate. So that will secure your spot, and you'll be working with me one on one. You can ask your questions. You will have 30 days of support, implementation, so that you don't just feel like you're walking away with all this information, but you're going to be getting my support as well. So there y'all go. That is the caregiver. This was my favorite one, y'all, and I'm not even a caregiver. That is not my brand personality. It is not my brand personality at all. But this was a fun one, and I'm glad that y'all enjoyed it. It seemed like y'all really like resonated with it and loved it. And so I had a good time with y'all. I'm excited. I'm looking at your comment now, Palm. I wonder if my 4 words that I picked about my personal brand aligns with the brand style. Um, I don't know. I don't know. You have to look through the words and see. I can't remember off the top of my head what you said. But what we've talked about definitely aligns with it. I'm glad I joined. I feel so much better about the YouTube video I'm record now. Yeah. 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 This is nice. This was nice. I ain't got nothing else to say. I had a good time with y'all. I'll definitely read up more on the cousins, specifically healer. Yes, definitely read up more on the healer. And you guys, I don't know what this is going to look like just yet. Okay. So do not hold me to it. But there is actually even more information on each brand personality outside of what I showed y'all, even on those cards. Okay. So what I do, I'll explain this part real fast. But what I do to help people to figure out their brand personality is that we play the brand personality game. All right. I made that name up because I made the game up, but it works. It works every time. Like literally, it works every time. And the people who have done it with me, they can attest to it. It literally works every single time. So when you go through the cards, I lay the cards out and um Palm said it on YouTube. The game works every time. It works every time. And so what you do is I lay out all these cards, this is all the brand personalities. I'm trying to fan them out so you can see because there's 60 of them. The ones that I'm going through in these videos are the fundamental brand personalities. Okay. There's so many more details. There's examples of the public figures and the brands that align with each of them. Right. So I could go in depth like I did on the caregiver on all the cousins. Okay. But the reason why I don't is because they all inside of the family, they all kind of have like a common thread. And so it's easier to, when teaching it, to go through the fundamental and then give y'all an overview of the cousins. But when we play the game, you find out which 3 make up your brand personality. And what happens is that you see how you may be, I'll use Palm as an example. So Palm, she played the game, which is why she can attest to it. And so she she got the sovereign, which we'll talk about. I'm trying to think, I don't even know how I want to address with that. I want to find a tiara. I gotta find a tiara. So the sovereign, or like the ruler, depending on who's talking about it, the sovereign brand personality is usually paired with another brand personality like the lover or another one that I can't think of off the top of my head. But what it does is that it takes the sovereign and it almost describes what type of sovereign personality you are. So if you're a sovereign and the lover, then you lead from a perspective of like you have like this authoritative aura, or not aura, but just like energy about you. And from that, you bring people together in a loving way. Like people feel like loved and cared for with you, which is the lover archetype. So you can see how each brand personality between the fundamental ones and the cousins, how they all make up this full personality, this full person, this full perspective, where it doesn't come across as you being a stereotype. Like no one's completely an angel, right? Like angel is a part of what you are. It may even be the main thing that people see, but you might also be a little rebellious. Okay. You might have a little like fight the power energy. So it can always be more well rounded with those other personalities. But when you play the game, I lay out the cards. You don't get to see the descriptions. You just look at the cards, at the pictures, and from it, it's like you are naturally drawn to what represents you, which makes it that's what part that makes it so cool. You're literally drawn to the one that represents who you are, what you're about, what you like. And then when people hear the card, they hear the description, they're like, "Oh my goodness, how did you know that?" And I'm like, "I didn't. You did. You knew it. You just have the words to describe it." So that's what makes it so cool and so unique. I have literally, and mean literally, have never seen anyone do this the way that I do, especially with the brand personality game. So it's something that I'm really proud of, and I'm glad that I get to do with people. But the reason why I don't just do them outside of the brand style lab is because it is very not time consuming, but it takes a lot of time to really show people how to take these things and apply them. So that's why I'm teaching the way that I do, so that even if you can't do a brand style lab right now, that's okay. You can listen and you can learn, and then you can discover which ones make the most sense for you. And that's what you use. So you have the information, you have the breakdowns, so that you're not just left out in the dark trying to figure it out. So, yeah. Hi, high class. Thank you. So that's a little peek. So when you work with me in the brand style lab, we will play the brand personality game together, and we will know for sure what your brand personality is, what it comprises of, and then how to implement these different pieces and this new information that you received to really have a brand that represents you well. Okay? Okay. So yeah, y'all. So tomorrow, actually, y'all help me pick. Y'all help me pick which one. So tomorrow, we can choose between the lover or the rebel. So between the lover and the rebel, which one should I do tomorrow? See, I have my ideas. I'm trying to think if I want to throw a third one in the mix. No, I'll put it between those two. Which one should I do? Okay, so I see Andrea. She said the rebel. Yeah, I mean, if we did the rebel, I would. I wouldn't be opposed. Okay, Latara said the rebel. Okay, I see two lovers. I'm thinking lover because you're probably gonna do like a bright red. Oh, okay. Okay. If that's the last vote, the lovers got it. The lovers got it. Do we have anyone else? Going once, going twice. Okay. So to the lovers. So we'll do lover first, and then rebel will be what's the day after tomorrow? Saturday. So yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do the lover tomorrow. That'll be fun. Let me see if I can figure out what I'm gonna wear now. I'm gonna wear like red and pink and fur and like a special perfume. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Well, that gives me some ideas now. I think I got a dress in mind that I want to wear. All right. Okay. I had fun with y'all. I've been on here. I went over my time once again, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, get all the senses tingling. I will see y'all tomorrow. We'll talk about the lover. The tomorrow, I don't believe it will be the same time though, y'all. It might be earlier. So if earlier you feel like you might miss it because you maybe got stuff going on or whatever, I totally get it. If you do miss it live, I will be leaving the videos on YouTube. So that's more of an incentive to get on over here to YouTube. The video quality is good. The mic is good. We ain't got no roaches or nothing over here. It's clean. It's welcoming. We got people talking in the comment section, so you have company. So just get on over here. Just get on over here. Okay. But if you are able to make it live, then you'll be here live. And then maybe, you ask a question, I answered on here. You never know. But I had such a pleasure teaching this to y'all. Y'all are so welcome. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.